What if a spoonful of honey could fight inflammation, balance your hormones, and supercharge your energy? Well, in this episode, I sit down with Juraj Kocar, co-founder of WYSE Earth, to talk about his powerful transformation from burnout to full vitality and how adaptogenic mushrooms played a major role. We go into ancient wisdom, modern biohacking, even traditional Chinese medicine, and the game-changing benefits of his mushroom-infused honey. So if you're curious about the natural ways to fight inflammation and level up your health over 40, this might be the episode for you. Stay tuned. Before we start, I just want to give a couple updates on what's coming up for Over 40 Fitness Hacks. I have two big interviews I'm excited about. One is with founder of Crowd Health, a new type of health coverage I think is just great for either unemployed, self-employed, or part-time people. And this is going to be the next level of health insurance that we're going to start seeing in the next 5 years. Then I have a red light therapy expert that's going to be coming on my show. And it's something I've had on my list for a long time and know nothing about. But I just keep seeing all these other anecdotal testimonials of how red light therapy has helped so many people. And it's just such a simple routine to add to the program if you know what you're doing and know what to buy. So other than that, I always put out there my SKOOL program, free to the first 100 members. Link is in my show notes. We have 19 spots left. Thank you for everyone for my podcasts and other social media channels that have been joining. Let's get on with the episode. So Juraj, thanks for coming on my show. Real excited to learn more about some of the things you've been doing with inflammations, your studies with traditional Chinese medicine, all these different adaptogens. This is the kind of stuff that I've been getting into for the last year, is more of like low-level biohacking and stuff that you don't traditionally hear about in the news or even on other podcasts. So your company, WYSE Earth, was right up our alley. But as my audience always knows, we want to get to know you first before we dabble into some of your products and your theories. So I'll let you take it away.
Of course. So first of all, thank you for having me, Brad. So my journey started in around 2012 when I was at the university studying, but also like partying hard. And that took toll on my life, on my health. I gained weight, started to have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and all of that. And when I went to see the doctors, they just told me, yes, so here are the drugs for this and that. And when I asked, how long should I take them until I will be healed? They said like, no, this is for the rest of your life. So it was then when I realized that I have to take like a different approach. So I just left the drugs there. And basically when I tried every vitamin and mineral and supplement you can think of, and nothing was working that well until I quite dramatically changed my lifestyle mainly in terms of the diet. So all of the problems that I was struggling at that time for the last like 3 or 4 years went away. It was less than 6 months. And I started to see and feel the really big impact already in the first 3 months. And then of course I went to like a complete transformation of what is affecting our health, our bodies. And that got me on the wellness journey to help other people, or at least share my experience that I had with my healing. And even a bit later manifested into 2 health and wellness companies.
Wow. And what age were you when you finally got everything taken care of, or at least managed?
Yeah, so that was about 15 years ago. And now I'm 42. So that was around 15 years ago is when everything like stabilized and I got my health back. And now I can definitely say and feel that my stamina and energy, everything is much better, even like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago when I was already like, let's say healthy. But now thanks to implementing small things on everyday basis and sort of like a hacks and things like that, I definitely feel much better.
Wow, that's awesome. Similar experiences for me, but I didn't have anything really start falling apart till real close to 40. And that's why I started getting into more focusing on diet, inflammation. I had food allergies like crazy. And I've had slowly and steady, like win after win, just focusing on listening to your body, researching stuff, and just taking kind of health into your own hands. So this is the kind of stuff I love talking to people about, get their stories and step up my own game too. So
yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Well, tell us how you did it. What's the theories that have been working for you? What's WYSE Earth all about? And
yeah, so getting a bit back to the transformation, of course, I had to like leave out all of the sugar and all the seed oils, like white flour and things like that. And that's what helped me the most.
Okay.
But the story of WYSE Earth. So in 2019, I founded my first company in the US and I was running it until last year. It was in the health and wellness space. It was called like Somavedic Technologies. And it was a frequency therapy device that was emitting harmonious frequencies so your cells can regenerate faster. But then I started to read about adaptogenic mushrooms and their effects on our bodies. And I was super fascinated by them because the range of the spectrum, what they can, let's say, heal or work with is pretty amazing. And they are also like really safe. So the more I was studying them, the more I was fascinated by them. And so even during, and as I was the CEO of the previous company, I said like, this is what I would like to do for next couple of years for sure. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my current business partner, I didn't know him then, approached me and asked for if I would like to meet with him. And he told me, hey, look, Juraj, we have this product. It's a honey infused with adaptogenic mushrooms. It's been on the local market for almost 2 years. And we have some amazing healing stories from cysts, from full body eczema, and even cancer and things like that. So first of all, he brought to the table adaptogenic mushrooms was super fascinating for me because it was like a great synchronicity because no one knew that in my mind, I wanted to work with adaptogenic mushrooms because I found them like the way to go, the super beneficial. And that all of a sudden someone approached me with a finished product confirmed already by tens of thousands of customers and asked me if I would like to help to bring it to the US market. So that was the first thing that I immediately said yes. And then he shared with me also a personal story, how he got involved with, why did he founded the company. And it was because his sister died unexpectedly of cancer, and which struck him really hard. Later in time, he met a guy that was able to heal himself from state, and doctors just said like, it's too late, there's nothing we can do, and just sent him basically home. They offered him like the option of chemotherapy, which he didn't want to do. So long story short, he started studying old books about how similar the health problems were approached in the past. And he also found out about adaptogenic mushrooms. So he started to doing extracts by himself and he healed himself and it was completely cancer-free ever since. So when Daniel, my business partner, met this guy, he said like, let's put a company together and let's create a product out of it. So this product is like really successful. And when he shared this story, why he founded the company and then the testimonials and all of that, for me, it was like a no-brainer. And why adaptogenic mushrooms? So not every mushroom is in the special adaptogenic category. So mushrooms that are in the adaptogenic category, they have to be, first of all, non-toxic. They have to have non-specific reaction and they have to have normalizing effects. So non-toxic means that you cannot basically overdose with them. So it's not like with drugs or herbs, even like healing herbs, you have to stop after a month or something. But with adaptogenic mushrooms, you can take them all year long, every day, and they are like safe in any dosage. Then the normalizing effects is that, for example, you have your nervous system, it's overstimulated. So you take a specific adaptogenic herb, or cacao is in that one as well. So during the evening, when you take it, it will calm you down. But for example, in the morning, it will just ramp up your nervous systems. So one thing can boost or lower your nervous system. So what adaptogen mushrooms are doing are putting your body into a homeostasis, into, let's call it like normal levels, whether they over it or amplify it. So they are like this bidirectional. And the third thing is that a specific drug aims at, for example, headache or knee pain or cholesterol or something. But where adaptogenic mushrooms are so special is they don't have this one specific effect. They just work whatever the problem is in the body, mainly related to inflammation, they just work there. So these three things make the adaptogenic mushrooms like super special and interesting.
Yeah. As far as like the honey, what's the purpose of infusing those adaptogens into the honey? Just because honey's an overall health product too, or is it more for like just taste? Because I know some of these mushrooms aren't the greatest tasting. I've tried coffees and stuff and it's like, oh, I'd rather just take a pill now.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. So the reason why we use honey is it's a delivery system. So yes, there are health benefits of honey of itself, but the beneficial compound in the adaptogenic mushrooms, they tie together with the sugar in honey. And so which makes it the delivery. So the sugar in honey is a delivery system into our blood. So of course it tastes better, which is something even more important. it makes it more bioavailable.
Yeah. And then for that specific product, how many different mushrooms are in there? I know there's the reishi, the turkey tails, or the cordyceps. All of those. I think there's like 5 or 6 that are well known.
Yes, yes. So as I mentioned that when I was studying at the university, so my background is I have a degree in engineering informatics, but the blends that we have, that we use in each different product, they are designed by traditional Chinese medicine masters. So it's not something that we would read in the book and let's put this and that together. So we approached traditional Chinese medicine masters in China to put together various blends. So one blend is, in this case, it was a similar blend that is used in South Korea or Japan when people have oncological problems or go to chemotherapy. So that blend is even prescribed by the doctors because adaptogenic mushrooms in Asia are considered medicine, like officially. So doctors are prescribing them. So we wanted them to put together a specific blend, especially to boost your immune system and lower the inflammation and things like that.
Yeah.
The other blend is for cardiovascular problems. The other one is, for example, it's called Power to energy increase and libido increase improvement, where there's Asian ginseng incorporated. So we use adaptogenic mushroom like reishi, chaga, cordyceps, shiitake, and also the Asian ginseng, as I mentioned. But not only they decided to what adaptogenic mushrooms to go for, they also designed the ratio between how the blend is put together.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. So on your end, that's a little more difficult to bring in a product like that into the US, I'm sure, because of what our FDA wants to see and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, you're right. But because adaptogenic mushrooms, they are not like a novel ingredient or I don't know about the specific like terminology, but it's not like something novel. So you can import it, you can sell it. You just have to be careful with the claims. Yeah. But other than that, it was more problematic to import the honey than the adaptogenic mushrooms, because I didn't know that in the US, it's really hard to get organic honey because you use pesticides and chemicals and antibiotics, which are forbidden here in Europe, where we source the honey. So majority of the organic honey in the US is being imported.
Yeah. Well, very cool. So besides this product, what other products are your flagship products for WYSE Earth that you're incorporating into this whole system?
So the flagship product is the first one that I've just described why it was designed to help these, I would say, people with their problems. It's called longevity. And we have majority of the testimonials we have, it's on the longevity and detox. So there's a special one called detox. Obviously, it's to help the body to detox, get rid of bacteria and parasites and all of that. So those two would be the go-to. And why adaptogenic mushrooms are so like helpful and universal is because they are the biggest inflammation fighters that we know of. And the chronic inflammation is the #1 health problem in the US. Because when you have like obesity, blood pressure, cholesterol, well, even cancer, cysts, all of that, the root cause of that is chronic inflammation.
Yeah. How many different products do you have? So you mentioned the detox,
yeah.
overall, and then there's specifics.
Yeah, we have longevity. That's for the universal one for the immunity. Then we have heart flow for the cardiovascular improvement. Then we have like detox, and we have power, which is for athletes or high performing like managers or professional athletes So we have 4 products currently.
Okay. So for someone who's got problems, you want to be more specific, but for people who have taken care of those things or maybe didn't have any to start with, it probably wouldn't hurt to do the detox at least once a year, something like that. And then the longevity one would be your #1 go-to.
Yes, definitely. Because the longevity, I would recommend that whether you are like super healthy or you consider yourself super healthy. And I would recommend that one even when you are like really struggling health-wise, because it's a really high potency like extracts there, and it will help you either way.
Yeah. And as far as like sourcing all your mushrooms, I had a podcast guest on my show last year, and he had like a mushroom coffee done right type thing. But one of his biggest things, at least here in the US, was there's all these FDA restrictions on everything. But because the mushrooms were such a new thing, there were so many companies sliding in there and quality control wasn't the greatest. And he mentioned #1 being grabbing these mushrooms, the fruiting bodies is basically where all the benefits are. But some of these companies were just grabbing up all the mycelium roots, blending it all and saying that you are getting 500 milligrams of reishi when most of it's like just roots where there's no benefits to us. And he said that's for the US. Who knows about Europe and all that? But that's now a concern on all supplements is I want to hear about the quality control and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a great question. And I forgot to mention it. So we use only fruiting bodies, only. And the company that we are sourcing the adaptogenic from, they have like a super high extract, which is 25:1. So the industry average is around 8:1. Means for 1 gram of extract, you need 8 grams, or 1 kilo of extract, you need 8 kilo of fruiting body. So we use 25:1, which is really high extract. And the company is supplying to companies in Japan, in Canada, in Korea, and even to pharmaceutical companies. And we've been there, obviously. So we've seen how they are doing it. They have all the certifications. So yes, we are using only fruiting bodies and almost 3 times higher the extract ratio, which makes it really potent.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other products from WYSE Earth, or is this pretty much it? Honey-infused mushroom adaptogens.
So maybe in Q3 or something, we will introduce like adaptogenic chocolate, but this would be more of like a mainstream product.
Yeah.
Because the honeys that we have, we call it medicinal category. So if we come up with a bar, for example, a bar or a chocolate, it still would be like super healthy. But the medicinal category would be the adaptogenic mushrooms with honey. But we do plan to introduce one more product in the coming weeks. And it will be designed specifically for women when they have like PMS problems and things like that. But what we found out already with longevity, that they are getting back their menstrual cycle, or it's getting back in the rhythm. So yeah, the adaptogenic mushrooms with honey are just super helpful in getting your hormones intact.
Yeah. And for all the low carb keto people, you mentioned you went a little bit more towards that lifestyle. But as far as like your honey, the keto people or low carb people are like, oh, sugar, it's not that bad to have that much. But how much for one serving is the sugar content of your product?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like almost 2 pounds, I think. So 1 jar is for 3 months. 1 spoon a day is perfectly enough.
Okay.
1 spoon a day is fine. And if you are worried about the spikes, it's like the sugar in the honey, it's complex sugar. It's not like the one in Diet Coke. And if someone is worried about the spike, just have it after your meal. And yeah.
That's what I do anyways, is if I want to have any treats or anything. I'm more paleo now than keto anyways, but everything I time it. We're eating protein first and then fats and then carbs if you have any. So it slows down that digestion process. So that's a perfect way to do it. And that way you can try a product like this and check out the benefits. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Juraj, how can my audience get a hold of you? This is a European product. In our minds, we think Amazon or something like that, but we know you shouldn't do that. So is most of your stuff done on your website? Are you on social media? Where would you like to direct my audience to?
Sure. So the best way, how to get a hold of our products on our website, WYSEearth.com. It's spelled WYSE Earth. You can find all of the products there. We have a warehouse in LA. So anything that you order, it's in just a couple of business days.
Wow.
There. So
very perfect. Well, it works good for me being here in San Diego. That's just a couple days. Well, cool. Juraj, thank you for coming on my show and sharing your stories. I mean, this is the best part of podcasting for me is there's so many different things out there and people and experiences and stories. So appreciate what you're doing and with WYSE Earth. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, I would just share what changed my life most dramatically is getting enough sleep and doing intermittent fasting on a regular basis, not like once a year or something. Even currently, I'm fasting like for 36 hours. And when I implemented that, doing every other week, I definitely felt like a huge improvement. So there are always things that doesn't cost anything and we can do. So yeah, I would advise people to try that.
Yeah, I talk about that on my show all the time. And I always say too, it's not one thing that gets you to be this overall healthy person and your dream goals of weight loss, all that kind of stuff. You have to synergistically do everything. So take it slow, one habit at a time. And it'd be very interesting. I know for myself, I'll try out your honey and just add it to the program. And that's how you take one step further. So appreciate you, Juraj, and thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thank you.